are you doing? I know that it has been a minute, and I have been telling people that it was going to go live for a while, and I just been kind of waiting for the right time. And those of you that don't know me, I am the founder of Earth Wisdom Reiki and Ancestral Mediation. Um, I was just sitting here on the other platform that I have been working on for the past 2 years and been busy on there. Everybody's going through it right now, right? From sea to shining sea. And I got a crystal clear message to, um, well, it started with being guided to look for something in my email. And those of you that are on this path, when you get a message to do something lately, it's you do it. You're not questioning, you just do it, right? So I went into the email looking for one thing. This is already starting the message for y'all. You're going to go into something, you're going to be looking for one thing or think you're looking for one thing, you're going to stumble upon something else, right? You're saying a prayer, what's my next step, or, who's my ally, or what have you, right? And so I'm looking in the email and I just happened to stumble across an email from a fellow reader. And this reader is someone who is absolutely amazing. I mean, she's just in a league of her own. She's an earth angel. She's incredible. I call her, the tough as a mother earth angel, right? And she's been, around. I just heard on the circuit. It makes me think of the rodeo, right? For a while, and you know, all these wonderful algorithms, that have been switched around and whatever, since the beginning of this year. So, YouTube is no different, bless YouTube, it's great to have a platform where you can connect with people and that kind of thing. But, everybody knows, especially if you're a reader, algorithm has changed, TikTok wasn't the only thing that changed. So, I hadn't been seeing any of her readings popping up. And when I say that this reader is amazing, both my daughter and I would look forward to being able to watch her, not just for her content, which was accurate, but for her, the stories that she was telling and just not giving up. And, just, I just heard the word Southern grit, grace and grit. So, she got us through a lot, and she believed in us. She helped us when, other people wouldn't even give us a time of day, right? All the spiritual community, everybody, oh yeah, well, we're here for you, this, that, and the other, and when it comes down to it, you get thoughts and prayers, people driving around in their spare SUV sending thoughts and prayers. So, anyway, I stumbled upon this email from back in the day, and I knew that I needed to reach out to her. And I didn't know why. I just knew, crystal clear message, like I said. So, I said a prayer and I went looking for her. And I'm like, please at least let her still be on YouTube. Because, like I said, it's been a minute. And so I started praying. Sure enough, she's still on YouTube. And something told me, send her email, just, touch base, see how she's doing, kind of thing. So, I sat there and just prayed, just reconnecting and, bringing her up to speed, what's been going on. And I had written a book to help free a second Marine, and part of that book had honored her because she deserves to be honored. And so part of me reaching out in the email was letting her know that that second Marine has now been freed, thanks to a amazing senator I was able to connect with at the last minute. So I love the lighting on here, makes me look like I have a mustache. Anyway, so I had, Aquarian season, triple Aquarius here. Y'all gonna have to bear with me, right? Age of Aquarius, it is what it is. So I had reached out to her. I'm talking to her in this email and telling her all these, um, crazy, zany, Aquarian esque things that are going on, like, having worked at this market and my kin having been quiet fired for, letting them know that, it's not kosher to take bribes from people to get hours, and then my hours were butchered, and then I ended up getting sick with the fires, and ended up having to quit because things were so bad, and all these like crazy 2025 whatever the heck stuff going on. And so I'm trying my best to kind of encapsulate this, articulate this. It's hard to articulate things that are even harder to define, right? And I'm telling her, because the email I had found from her was the last time she was asking, hey, if y'all need any help, let me know. And she's not the type of person where if she says, oh, if you need help, let me know, where she's just going to send thoughts and prayers, right? And I almost started crying when I found the email. I was like, oh my God, I have to reach back out to this person. So I'm telling her what's going on. I'm telling her how, we tried reaching out to unemployment lawyer and, all these different things. And, now we're having a fight to keep our home. Okay, so I just fought to literally free the second Marine at the last possible second. If y'all have ever heard of something called the 11th hour, that's what it was. Okay, VIP literally had to um, connect with another VIP on let's just say an exclusive airplane only certain people allowed on, right? In order to tell the truth without looky loos and bugaboos trying to cut it apart, right? Trying to stop the miracle, put it that way. So something about flying above and beyond, rising above and beyond, to connect with the people you need to connect with, lifting your vibration. Maybe you're gonna meet with someone on an airplane. I don't know, but this is what happened, right? And not only did it free the second Marine, but it stopped the seventh whistle. So if y'all know anything about the Hopi prophecy, my grandma was the granddaughter of Nicholas Black Elk, and she had entrusted this vision for me and my daughter's VIP sensei to free the first Marine and go forward for the second one. So anyway, I'm trying to, my own little Aquarian way, encapsulate all this and tell this fellow reader, divine feminine, what's been going on. Because I know that she's not only going to read the email, but she's going to read it beyond reading it. She's going to feel it beyond feeling it. She's going to reply beyond replying, that kind of thing. So I send the email, right? And I'm like, okay, 10-4 is when I sent it. So, in trucker terminology, 10-4 is like Roger Wilco, got your message, that kind 10-4 little buddy, that kind of thing. So, if you're seeing 10-4 around, that's the universe telling you, hey, 10-4, we heard your prayer. 10-4, miracles are on the way. So then, Aquarians, we tend to do things in our own order, right? And some people think it's bass backwards, but it's actually like divine alignment, or however we're guided to do it, right? So I send the email first, and then I'm guided to watch one of the readings that she had done, one of the most recent readings, which was like 6 days ago. And, I'm smiling because six is the number of planets that are in the bridge that we're dealing with right now that are culminating on the 22nd of this month. So, if y'all been feeling like walking a tightrope, that's pretty much what it is, especially as a divine feminine, because that number six is not only equated to divine feminine energy, but it's also equated to Venus, right? So, all these things connecting because it all interconnects. And so I go back and I'm watching this reading, and I find out that she's been going through it, right? She's you want to talk about being under spiritual attack? This is the last woman that I would ever mess with. Okay, it's like trying to mess with Nolans, or trying to school Nolans, right? You've seen a couple people try that in the past, and if you're from Nolans, or lineage holders out there like I do, or you were a lineage holder in a past life, whatever, you know, you don't mess with Nolans, you don't school Nolans, because Nolans will drop you in the ocean, right? And so this woman is the same thing. Like if you took Nolans and you put it into a person, somebody that is tough as a mother but has a heart of gold, amazing spiritual gifts, that kind of thing, right? That's who this reader is. So I'm listening to all this unholy stuff that she has been going through, the stuff she's been dragged through. So, people dragging her name through the mud, people, all kinds of things. And I'm just like, Holy shit, I know exactly what she's talking about, right? And I'm like, no wonder I was led to her email. No wonder I was guided to reach out to her. No wonder, I mean, I know, when I was in the thick of what I was going through and, feeling like none of these miracles were ever going to come together, and then now dealing with what I'm dealing with and reaching out to people that, I would rather order stuff off of online stores that deal with slave labor and all this stuff, than promoting my daughter's online shop that not only has affordable stuff on it, but is getting beyond the bullies for her and everyone else. It's just like, what the hell is the world coming to? And yet I'm just, guided to reach out. And literally, I know I told my friend Maddie that, I would be going live on Valentine's. And let me tell you, Valentine's for this Aquarius was not anything like, what I thought, what the ancestors hoped Valentine's would be, okay? It was tough. And, they were full of jokes that day. Like, me looking out my window just in time to see two birds making whoopee in midair, outside my window on the fourth floor. I'm like, okay, well, that's got to be a definite sign that, my person is, gonna either find or make a way to, send a text, make a call, show up on the doorstep with flowers and a ring, whatever. And didn't happen. And I'm like, are you serious, ancestors? You know, you're showing me undeniable signs, unmistakable this, that, and the other, and you're still gonna let somebody get off on excuses? Come on now, liquid courage. I really don't care. Bring it home. So, I'm reaching out and I'm seeing she's going through the same stuff. I'm like, no wonder I was guided to reach out. So even after reaching out, okay, even after the email, even after watching the video, I'm sitting there going, okay, well, I can get back on my other platform where, I'm getting paid $4.10 a minute to help congressional candidates and all these people, right? And ancestors are like, nope, you need to hop on YouTube and you need to do a live. Not only in support of her, but in support of all the other readers, that have supported you throughout the years, fellow readers, fellow divine feminines, etc., because they're all going through it too. And some people have words for it, some people don't have words for it. But sometimes, seeing somebody else going through it and then hearing that they were guided to reach out to somebody else that's going through it, especially as we're all walking across this bridge together, it comes through when it needs to come through. So then I'm sitting there and kind of sort of being a smartass, which is typical Aquarius trait. And I'm like, okay, y'all want me to pause my other platform and you want me to get on YouTube, and you're telling me, hey, tell people what's going on, tell people that, your landlord tried to do this whole bait and switch thing they think is real cute. People jumping ship like the poor folks on the Titanic. And you've got floods coming up in Los Angeles. You just got through like three different fires trying to get north to Oregon so that you can grieve and your kin can finish school in peace. And this is going to shift something. People are going to come back in their hearts. People are going to buy from your store so that, you guys don't have to be stuck in limbo or purgatory or whatever it is. I'm like, okay, fine. So y'all want me to go on YouTube. Y'all want me to, do this live card pull, that I haven't advertised, but you're saying, people gonna jump on, people gonna care, people gonna help, it's gonna spread the love, it's gonna spread the wealth, pay it forward, the whole thing. So what do y'all want me to call this? Okay? And they tell me, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm like, all right, great. Now you're cracking jokes about Muhammad Ali, which is hilarious since, my person actually trained under him. And am I okay, fine, divine masculine, whatever they want me to call it, right? Anam Kata, Kingdom Spouse, whatever, Mirrored Soul, whatever y'all want to call it. And they said, but there's a catch, because most people do not know the end of that quote. They said it's not just about float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, as the clock just said 1:44. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, because they can't hit what they can't see. Now, y'all know you got to be mindful things you say on YouTube, other places nowadays, whatever, which is really hard for us Aquarians. But when you're talking about things that you know they're not seeing, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, they can't hit what they're not seeing. They can't hit what they can't see. They can't hit what they don't see. And I went, whoa, okay, this just took a whole nother turn, right? This just went from the city to the back roads where there's no light electric interference, and you look up and all you see is the Milky Way. All you see is a map taking you home, guiding you home, right? And I went, okay, so why is this so important for, my fellow readers, my fellow Aquarians, my fellow divine feminines, right? With everything going on right now. And they said it has to do with the intangible. So the intangible is indestructible. So, you've got little boys who, are descended from some of the most brilliant scientific minds in the world that, came up with inventions that were supposed to be free to help set all of us free. And they're trying to nickel and dime, put price tags on all this stuff, whatever, and, realizing not only what karma really is, but what karma can do, right? So just because, somebody's descendants didn't get the memo yet, doesn't mean that we can't get it ahead of time and really start to understand what things like the 369 principle are, what things like 369 manifestation, magnetization are, especially coming into this 222 portal. There's a desire to want to fight harder, yell louder, all these things that are very tangible, right? So if something is tangible, it's like waving a red flag in front of a bull. It's tangible, right? It's something that bull can chase after. If there's a bunch of people standing around that bull and they're whispering or they're making different kind of noise, whatever, but they're not waving something, there's nothing tangible for that bull to zero in on, to go after, right? um there's float like a butterfly. Butterfly is all about transformation. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, right? Everybody knows what that bee can represent. So when you're talking about women's empowerment, divine feminine, sacred feminine, kundalini rising, all these things, this year is 2025, which is a 9 vibration. So 9 vibration represents letting go of something that we thought we needed to hold on to in order to make room for 8 more things that are infinite. Infinite healing, infinite love, infinite clarity, infinite connection, however you want to say. All those things are coming together. So, most of us, due to fires, floods, natural disasters, unnatural disasters, have been assisted or supported in one way or another of already letting go of that one thing. That's kind of why this year started with WTF, which, technically Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but, for most people, it really did equate to, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, which, if you're not military, go talk to somebody who's military, they'll explain it to you. So, it's just really, really interesting, and it's also beautiful how the divine is bringing everything together, right? So again, what are they telling me to call this? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. And the minute that I heard that title, I start hearing Muhammad Ali giggle. And if anybody knew Muhammad Ali, back in the day, whatever, right? The man was a lot like my divine masculine, which is probably why he took him under his wing, like the father that he always should have had. And Muhammad Ali with just heart of gold, humanitarian, but it was also that energy. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, right? You're floating like a butterfly so that you're continuing with your transformation. You're floating like a butterfly so that you are, pollinating the flowers so that it assists in other people's healing, other miracles, things like that, right? But the minute that somebody is arrogant enough to think that they know better than your creator, or to think that they can block the blessings that creator has sent for you to be able to help others in tangible and intangible ways, that's when most divine feminine, sacred feminine, however you want to say, right? Don't even gotta sting like a bee, okay? We just kind of sit there and watch our ancestors sting like a bee, you know? I will tell people with all the, unholy hoji poji that I've had to deal with, past 15 years, let alone 20 years, whatever, that I'm finally getting beyond. It's like, you want to mess with the blessed, I'm going to tell you one thing, and that's I pray that your ancestors have mercy on you because I guarantee that mine won't. And people don't know what that means, then they're going to fluff around and find out, okay? So if you're sitting there watching this and you're giggling like Muhammad Ali, you know exactly what that means. That man had a threshold, okay? He's like a wolf, you know. I had a friend of mine who was an Aikido master, and he used to go and he would, they call randori, which is sparring, right? So he would spar with the wolves, and as long as you are running the same pace as the wolves, you're playing a game. But the minute you start running faster, it's a sign of like arrogance, right? It's a sign of like, okay, you no longer are my equal. You're now prey. All right, and I'm going to take you down because that's what I'm designed to do. And so Muhammad Ali is the same way, right? To a certain degree, if there was a mutual respect, and you're in the ring with Muhammad Ali, you're going to learn something. I don't care how good you think you are, you're going to learn something. It'd be like if you step onto the tatami with my divine masculine, you're going to learn something, right? You're either going to be respectful and you're going to learn it the nice way, or you're going to be arrogant, you're going to learn it the hard way. And, he learned a lot of that from Muhammad Ali. So, there's something right now where it's like the gloves are coming off, okay? Age of Aquarius, yeah, we're humanitarians, we're here to hold it down, lift it up, all 9 yards, but the gloves are coming off, right? And it's not about just being an activist, it's about being an alchemist. So it's like, oh, okay, you want to throw that at me? Guess what? I'm going to spin it, I'm going to throw it back to teach you the lesson that you need to be better and do better, right? Akarame tutisunagpo shishima matsuwa. People will send me ugly, messages or comments on, TikTok, whatever, and I reply with that. And they reply back, "What the hell is that? Did you just curse me out?" It's like, no, actually, it's a Tibetan heart mantra, which, I'm going to keep sending to you till it brings you back in your heart, because that's where you were born to be in the first place. And that's where all of your higher work has to come from here, has to come from your heart, right? So, float like a butterfly. Butterfly went through hell to go from caterpillar to butterfly. There's no going backwards. You can't go from a butterfly to caterpillar. You can lay more eggs, those hatched caterpillars, but you can't go backwards. So there's no going back from the transformation. I'm hearing Inagata Devita, right? Iron butterfly. It's like somebody goes to swat a butterfly, and instead of that butterfly being, some gossamer, floating around, right? That butterfly is the reincarnation of Muhammad Ali. So now you got this iron butterfly, right? And it's like you try and hit an iron butterfly, what's going to happen? You're going to break your hand, right? So what is that? That's like, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, because it's still a butterfly, but if you try and smack that butterfly and it's Muhammad Ali, it's going to sting anyway. So there's something about integrating the how do you say the warrior healer right now, especially heading towards that 222, because what does 222 mean? It's an angel number. It means I love you too. So it starts with here. We look to our creator, we look to our spirit team, our angels, our ancestors, who love us unconditionally. And we say, I love you too. And then you look in the mirror and, whether you got wrinkles on your butt, whether you got pimples on your face, whether you got false eyelashes, no eyelashes, whatever it is, right? I love you too, because nothing is ever wasted. Every bit of you, from your nose to your mouth to is a part of your ancestry that's there for a reason, right? It's a part of your cultural map, not only to the past but also to the future. And it's powerful, it's beautiful. If you're blessed to be on a twin flame journey, y'all know how that works. You stare in the mirror long enough, you will see your twin flame, which means when you're sitting there giving yourself a compliment, I love you too, your twin is down the street, or they're up the mountain, or they're in New York or wherever the heck, and all of a sudden their heart chakra starts lighting up. Why? Because the minute you said you love yourself, they're gonna feel it too, right? Because you're mirroring each other. And when you're mirroring each other, when you're in their heart, they're in their heart, then you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do, which means you're sending that heart energy out to your city, your state, your country, the world, the universe, everywhere. Matakwe Ayase, from the tiny little ant to the microbe in the ocean to the eagle that's flying above the mountain. It's all interconnected. So there's powerful things. I just heard, pay attention. There are powerful things that are going to happen between now and 222. You might even see family members that you've been fighting with forever. They may not say it out of their mouth, but you're going to feel it from their heart. There's a shift, there's a turning point. It's not just shift happening, it's holy shift happening. I love you too. Soul groups that you've been fighting with, I love you too. Because none of us were put here to pretend that we not seeing. Okay, we not seeing how we all connected. We not seeing how us working together is lifting the vibration of humanity. We not seeing how protecting other people's children protects our children, and vice versa. We not seeing. We are seeing, right? Everybody's mother was here as a portal to heaven, to bring in a miracle, to better things for somebody, to better things for the rest of the world. There's no exception. Nobody was put here to terrorize other people. Nobody was put here to destroy other people. Nobody was put here to turn away miracles because of invisible lines of chalk wherever, somebody's greedy little kid drew, when they were bored. None of that is why we're here. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't hit what they can't see. So if they want to sit there and they want to think they got the rules figured out, right? They want to act like a little, toddler running around with scissors trying to, jam them in the light socket, whatever, then you operate on a level they can't see. They can't touch what they can't see, right? Now that could mean undoing nefarious plans, and that's what some people are being called to do. And it can also mean they can't touch what they can't see. So if you're working behind the scenes and you're planting seeds that are non-GMO, whatever the heck, right, for the future, and you're protecting children, and you're teaching children they're still good in this world, and you're showing children they're still good in this world, right? And you're taking them out beyond all the loud noises, whatever, in the city. You're showing them the Milky Way. You're showing them the map to the future, the map to the past, right? You're reminding them who their real ancestors are, where they come from. Then you are instilling wisdom that is intangible, which means it's indestructible. That's what our ancestors knew. When you look at these powerful spiritual groups, that these, overgrown little boys, thought they could take off, take off the map, or however you want to say, right? They didn't go after them because they thought they were powerless. They went after them because they knew they were powerful beyond measure. And it's because they were using the wrong ruler. They were trying to steal things out of fear. They were trying to manipulate things out of fear. They were trying to keep other people down out of fear and jealousy, because they had forgotten that we're all connected. We're all family. The same gifts that somebody else has to be able to better things, they had too. They just got it twisted. Scared and sacred are the same word, the same letters. It just got twisted. Now these sacred winds of change are blowing, and those words are getting put back to where they were meant to be originally. People are remembering their sacred connection with their ancestors. They're remembering their sacred connection with the earth. They're remembering their sacred connection with all that is and all that ever will be. Even those who are pretending not to see are still seeing. And they may act, big, bold, brave, whatever, in public, but I guarantee they go home, they have a red heart, and they cry rainbow tears. Because they know you can't control wildfire. You may think that you're going to, put it here, here, here. These winds come in and they teach you a whole nother lesson. Just like trying to school knowledge ain't going to work. You try and school the divine, ain't going to work. Because divine's been here a hell of a lot longer than you have. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't touch. They can't hit what they can't see. Why do you think telepathy is kicking up so much? I read something the other day that in order to have a genuine telepathic connection with someone, whether it's your child, whether it's, twin flame, whatever, you're talking about 200,000 hertz of energy. That's a lot of energy. And yet I know healers, myself included, we do it all the time. So why are our telepathic gifts kicking up so much now? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't hit what they can't see. There's something about us being gifted a measure of courage and a measure of time to do the most powerful work that we have ever been called to do from behind the scenes, especially between now and the 22nd. I was cracking jokes the other day about Lion King. My guides were showing me Lion King and how, Simba returned in his father's honor. The second generation returned and roared to restore the Pride Lands with the divine feminine and the matriarchs behind him, as Scar was trying to play both sides. He was trying to convince the hyenas that he was against Simba, and he was trying to convince Simba that he was against the hyenas. And in the end, those hyenas overheard him trying to play both sides. So they took matters into their own hands. They got tired of it, right? You can use that any kind of analogy that you want. But 222 is that sixth vibration. It's the divine feminine. It's those matriarchs. It's Sarabi and Nala standing with their fellow divine feminine, with the fellow lionesses. We just came out of a extremely powerful Leo full moon. We're still in the umbrella of that Leo full moon, heading towards a Pisces new moon. Fire don't put out fire, but holy water does. Leo is a fire sign. Pisces is water. What do you think is going to happen between now and the time that we get to a Pisces new moon? New moon is like a pregnancy. You get to new moon, that energy is going to build. Momentum. The first word in momentum is mom. The next word in the middle is om. If we start oming now, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, they can't hit what they can't see. And I know lots of people, myself included, my Winona, a lot of the feminines around me, and even the masculines that have a balance of masculine and feminine, have been crying all kinds of tears. Because what else are you going to do when women are being disrespected, children are disappearing, veterans are being thrown out into the cold? Sometimes all you can do with that is cry. But those are not tears of pity. Those are not tears of defeat. Those are warrior tears that are falling from your soul, cleansing your third eye, watering seeds of hope for better tomorrows today. So if you're talking about a Leo full moon leading into a Pisces new moon, get ready, because that's going to be powerful. Pisces is the 12th sign. That's the ocean of emotion. Anybody that knows that song, Divine Maverick's the one that led me to that song. I'd never even heard it before. Spirit, lead me where my faith is without borders. Let me walk across the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and I'll be made much stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me to the ocean without borders. If you've never heard that song, listen to it, because it just gave me goosebumps all over again. As a mother, knowing what other mothers are going through that never should have happened, because some little lost boy who forgot what his mama taught him thought he could overthrow the balance of the sacred and profane in ways that wouldn't boomerang back to him and his. During the season of Aquarius, in the age of Aquarius, and the year of the snake. Aquarius is a humanitarian. The snake is Kundalini energy, which is rising up from the root all the way to the crown. Divine feminine, kingdom spouse, adjusting our crown. Queen bee, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't hit what they can't see. What if we were to tweak that just a little bit? Float like a butterfly, sting like a queen bee. They can't hit what they can't see. Where does a queen bee reside? In the hive. Who is the queen bee protected by? The warriors. What is the queen bee doing? Co-creating miracles. What are we doing? Co-creating miracles. Raising up stronger and better for the future. Co-creating protected miracles. Being protected by our warriors. Being protected by our ancestors. Spirit, lead me where my faith is without borders. The tree that is the deepest with its roots doesn't fear the storm. The forest that has already been plundered by the fire regenerates even stronger every time. Simba standing there with all of the lionesses behind him roaring, in faith, looking out at desolation, bringing everything back to life, not for themselves, but in honor of their ancestors and in support of the future generations. Get ready. Be ready. Stay ready. Not to fight, but like Bruce Lee would say, the art of fighting without fighting. Praying beyond praying. Trusting beyond trusting. Hearing beyond hearing. Helping beyond helping. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't hit what they can't see. If you haven't seen the Celestine Prophecy yet, please watch it. I know it came out a long time ago. I don't know, 2006, 7, something like that. But it still stands today. And when you read the book and you watch the movie and you start learning about control dramas and you start applying them to, uh, political lost boys, who are fighting over toys and think they can tell their mamas what to do until their mama puts them to bed without supper or, puts them in the playpen or whatever the heck, is going to make a heck of a lot of sense. The Celestine Prophecy, the Hopi Prophecy, the seventh whistle that was just held back by freeing one warrior in the 11th hour, in the season of Aquarius, and the age of Aquarius, and the year of the snake, that unplugged a whole bunch of narcissistic hoji poji that was planned for that same day. Was not an accident. Miracles are all around us. Miracles are within us. If you're having trouble believing in miracles because you're in the midst of storms and fires and all this other stuff going on, hug your child. Hug your cat, your dog, your horse, your snake, your lizard. I don't care what it is. Hug your partner. And if you feel like you lost everything and you don't have anybody left to hug, hug yourself. Look in the mirror. Because you look into your eyes long enough, you're going to see your ancestors. You put your hand on your heart, you're going to feel the drum. You're going to feel whatever musical instrument that it was that kept them connected. Not only to the natural way things are meant to be, but the true power that lies within all of that, that may seem intangible, but was designed that way so that it would also be indestructible. And at that point, all you're going to do is take things from one prayer to the next, one breath to the next, one miracle to the next. And together, breath by breath, step by step, we will continue to piece the rest and best together for Mother Earth and all her children as we are walking and flying each other home. So, I said all that to say, blessings to all my fellow readers, blessings to all my fellow Divine Feminine, happy birthday to all my fellow Aquarians. Enjoy that Kundalini energy rising, because you're going to start to feel your crown even more visible, yet invisible, and therefore more protected than ever. And instead of putting each other down because, somebody's looking at 6 and 3 and saying 9, and somebody's looking at 4 and 5 and saying 9, and somebody's looking at 8 and 1 and saying 9. Just remember, we're all walking up the same mountain. We're all going to reach the same sacred destination. And the more that we sing to each other along the way, the more we're going to be able to heal the past, present, and future in ways that nothing can ever diminish or delay again. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. If you need me, reach out. My email is in my bio. Anybody sees this and feels inspired to donate whatever you can, to help us um, beyond these fires so that we can get home, get north like we promised Grandma Agnes. I'll leave, my Cash App is in the description or what have you. I think my PayPal is in my bio too. Um, but just feel free to reach out. I'm always here if somebody needs a shoulder or an ear. I don't always get a chance to come on YouTube, but I did want to pull a card for you guys. It looks like somebody left a message, but I can't see what it is right now. So if someone did leave me a message, I will see what it is later and I'll get back to you. So the card that I'm getting is 46, which is raccoon, and that is from the medicine cards. Raccoon is talking about security. So it's talking about keeping ourselves clean. And it doesn't just mean physically, but it means spiritually, using sage, using Palo Santo, keeping ourselves clean. I just heard, again, water. We're coming up on that Pisces new moon. So, water, stay close to water. Some people, like me, ground best when you're in the water, you know? You turn your water just to the right way. If it's in a glass, you're going to see a rainbow, right? So every storm runs out of rain. After every storm is a rainbow, right? Rainbow represents all of us. It in Lakota tradition, we have 7 bands of the rainbow. So 7 bands of the rainbow, 7 days in the week, 7 sisters, which are the Pleiades. It all has to do with that seven energy. So the 10, 4 and 6 is a 10, and that has to do with Wheel of Fortune. Can also go to a 1, which represents Aries energy. So you could be in Aries, you could be dealing with an Aries, your partner could be in Aries, but there's just something about, raccoons are nice and cuddly, but again, raccoons are warriors. You try and go after their youngsters, you're not going to do it. You're not even going to think about doing it again after that point. Let's put it that way. So there's just something about, Ohana, family, banding together. Again, keeping ourselves clear also means your thoughts. It's easy, to the doom scrolling and all that stuff, and all the stuff you're seeing on the news and whatever. Just rule of thumb, if it makes your stomach tighten, there's probably something in it that is, manufactured. If it makes your heart tingle, go with that. Follow that light, follow your heart. It's going to guide you where you need to go. And let me see here. I want to pull from this deck, see if anything comes forward in support. And we get the star card. So, those of you that read tarot cards, I don't remember what deck this is from. The other one are the medicine cards, but this card just happens to be the Aquarius card. So, this little light of mine, your light was never little. It was never meant to be little. It was meant to light the way for you, light the way for everyone else. When I think about all the babies right now that are in places they never deserve to be, and they're scared and they're crying for their mamas, and those of us that, dream travel, that are babysitting these babies until they can get back to their families, and waking up exhausted, and coffee don't even cut it. That's what the age of Aquarius is about. All right, it's a reserve of strength. It's all of us understanding beyond understanding, praying for each other, like candles for each other, using your resources, your experiences, all those things that you kind of tucked away for a rainy day. Okay, well, how am I going to be able to help with this and that and the other ever happens? Guess what? This is what you trained for. All right, all hands on deck. So if you look at this, figure, Not only does she look Eastern European and, looks like Rapunzel, let down your hair, right? But she's got a crown on her head. Okay, she's protecting her crown chakra. She's looking up at the stars because the stars represent the ancestors. That particular star is not just a star, it's also a planet, which is Ampuichapi, which is the morning star, which is also Venus. She's holding the lamb. The lamb represents innocence. She's not just praying for herself, she's praying to protect the innocence of Mother Earth and all her children. And that innocence, which, 9 times out of 10 is, how do you say, affected in some way, that makes, you know, overgrown kids, that become politicians, whatever, go around, thinking, well, I've got more money than God, therefore I'm above the law, you know, that's what she's praying for. She knows that the sacred always trumps the profane. The sacred always wins. Love always wins. So she's protecting the innocence of that little one. And she's praying with all her heart at the same time, asking Venus, asking the goddess Venus, the goddess of love, however you want to say, the mother goddess, asking the star nations, asking the ancestors, asking the spirit helpers, the angels, everybody to intervene. Divine intervention. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. They can't hit what they can't see. Those are waves of prayers going out, waves of love going out, waves of healing coming in, waves of strength, reservoirs of strength to be able to protect the innocence and the innocence with our extra sense that we haven't had to use in a long time. This isn't about old medicine. This is about ancient memories, ancient medicine, ancient mantras. The things that got our ancestors through the worst of the worst to be able to continue to piece the rest and best together for Mother Earth and all her children. These are the things that are coming back online now. Computer had a virus. Okay. We shut it off. We got it repaired. We got rid of the virus. We had to reboot it. We may have lost a couple of old files, but we were able to get into the archives, the protected archives, the Akashic records, the past lives, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what you call it. It just matters that you send those prayers up so those blessings can come down. As above, so below, as within, so without, and all around. I think that's a perfect card for us to leave off on for now. And again, love you all from the bottom of my heart. If you need to get a hold of me for any reason, follow your intuition just like I did with that other reader. And I'm here for you. Together we will piece the rest and death together and do whatever we gotta do to bring those babies home. Alright? Oma washte, hechetualo, ho, metakwayase.